So the new FX5 is out, and it is the new kid on the block, and it is creating all kinds of waves on the internet, especially video YouTube. Now, my question is my Canon R5C and my Nikon ZR still good enough to do paid work for the rest of 2026 and possibly all of 2027 without an actual replacement? Let's talk about it. So the FX5, what can I say? It looks like an amazing camera, even despite the price. Now, the reason I say that is because Sony users and people who shoot on Sonys, I don't think will mind actually paying the price of $5,000 for the thing. I mean, it's like 45 to 5,000. I think over 5,000 with the XLR handle. The biggest attraction to me personally, as like, you know, someone who loves cameras, who likes to experiment with different things, is the fact that when you have a Sony camera, people are actually looking for that when it comes down to paid shoots. If I were to start all over again, I would have probably started with an FX3. Now, the reason I say that is because everywhere I would go on paid shoots, on kind of like freelance stuff that I would do, I would see people shooting on basically Sony or Canon, period. But for video, it was mostly Sonys that people were shooting on, whether it was the FX6 or the FX3s. I didn't see a single Lumix camera out there. I didn't see a single Olympus, or God, I didn't see a Nikon back then at all. I actually just did a shoot for some car stuff, and all Canon, all Sony still. Mostly FX6s and C80s, I think, is what I saw the most of, actually, now that I think about it. It was a lot of C80s. I was the only person shooting it on R5C. Now, the crazy thing is that when that camera came out and I seen the specs, the only really thing that I feel like it's an actual upgrade is the open gate, which I've had open gate cameras and it is what it is. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And the fact that the raw files are super duper small. Now, you know, shooting on a Nikon, shooting on this Canon, the raw files are huge. No matter what you do, you can't get raw files in an SD card on this R5C where you can on the Sony, which is really impressive. Now, I don't know what that means. I'm not like a pixel peeper, or I'm not gonna be able to tell you what that actually is gonna mean when it translates to an actual video. But, I mean, 12-bit code, I mean, it's still a 12-bit raw file. I don't know if that makes it a better file, a worse file than like the Nikon. I'm pretty sure that when you put this camera in the hands of actual, you know, filmmakers and, you know, video shooters out there, and they actually start putting it through its paces, you're gonna start seeing some pretty amazing stuff. So I think that even that small codec for the raw is not gonna be a problem for anyone. So that's a huge plus. If Nikon could do that for the ZR, it would be amazing to maybe have a, you know, a smaller, more condensed part of the R3D. But I'm not complaining about my Nikon, to be honest with you, and I'm not complaining about my Canon. I just think that if you're shooting Sony, or if you want to get into filmmaking, I think that Sony is the #1 brand you're going to see out there. The #2 you're going to see is going to be Canon. Now, there are a lot of really cool Canon cameras out right now, and the only one that really intrigues me right now is the C50. I don't know if I want to go right from the R5C and maybe get a C80 or C400 or something. I'm not quite there yet, but I think for most of what I do, and most of what most people are doing out there and getting paid for, cameras like this and cameras like my Nikon ZR are more than enough. I mean, I'm shooting, I think 6K in this camera right now. Shooting 8K on this camera on a regular basis, whether it's the MP4 files that are smaller or the raw files, depending on what I'm shooting. The only complaint I ever have about this camera is really the battery. Yeah, the dynamic range is not as nice as a C-Log 2, but I gotta be honest, if anybody even could tell the difference between those things, I would salute them. Like, they're freaking camera geniuses, and if they could look at a video online and say that was shot on Canon C-Log 2 or C-Log 3, I'd be really impressed. Now, I think that's really more for the user. I tend to shoot a lot in C-Log 3, even though I could shoot in C-Log 2 here in RAW, only because for some reason, I think that the C-Log 3 looks darker than the C-Log 4. I mean, the C-Log 2. So, I mean, that's really the only difference I could tell when I'm actually putting it in my DaVinci Resolve and going through like footage. Like I actually just shot some C-Log 3. It was a landscape that I actually just recently did, and it looked fine to me. Customer didn't complain. No one complained. No one can even tell a difference. And I think that that is a testament to the fact that these cameras are super powerful today. Now, I'm really like kind of still caught between a rock and a hard place as to whether or not I want to upgrade. But I don't think I want to upgrade to a $5,000 camera yet. And if I were, I think it would have to have internal NDs. I mean, at least internal NDs. I don't know if the Komodo, like the V Raptor has that, and that's a really expensive camera. I don't know if the Komodo X has internal NDs, so, and I think they're right around used for like $4,000. So if I wanted to upgrade my Nikon and want like a path up to something a little bit more production worthy, I would probably like go with like, you know, like a red Komodo or something. If I was upgrading my Nikon, my Canon, I would probably upgrade this to probably a C80. I think. I don't know. I mean, it shoots in SD cards, and today and age, with the price of memory, I mean, I think maybe the C80 is, even though it was behind because it doesn't shoot in like in CFast, you know, Express Type B cards, and it shoots in SD cards. I think that right now shooting in SD cards is probably the way to go. I just bought a SD card here somewhere. Anyway, I bought an NVMe card, 1 terabyte, in March, and it was $130. Okay, I just bought the same terabyte, same exact card, no differences, and it was $229. So it just keeps incrementally jumping up as far as memory out there. I don't think it's gonna last forever. I really think that the whole AI bubble is about to burst, and there's gonna be a lot of companies in trouble out there, and we're gonna be finding memory for pennies on the dollar, even cheaper than I think they were before. So yeah, I mean, the Canon R5C to me is still the GOAT when it comes down to hybrid cameras, right? And I haven't really used it as a photo camera for a lot of jobs, but I've been in gigs where people are like, hey man, can you do some photo? And looking at the FX5, like if I can't really do photo, I think that takes me totally out of that camera, you know? Even the Nikon ZR takes photos. So that 3.5-inch screen and the raw codecs and all that stuff are really cool, but if I'm gonna be running gun, trying to get paid out here, you know, and I need to be able to be versatile and say, hey, yeah, I could do some photos for you, I will stick to this camera right here. I don't even see an upgrade as far as that camera goes in Canon, to be honest with you. They still don't have like a hybrid cinema / photo camera like they did with the R5C. I mean, they have the R6V, which is pretty interesting if you ask me. It's still only a 24 megapixel camera, I think, or 28 megapixel camera. This is 48, it's a lot bigger. You can zoom in a lot better when it comes down to photos. And the cinema menu is still in here for video, and it still has all those video codecs. I still have, you know, an XLR handle for this. There's nothing I really need to upgrade. Seriously. Crazy. Now, I've been thinking about jumping to one system just to keep everything uniform. I don't know if I'm there yet. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is either buying another R5C at some point or buying another Nikon ZR, and then that be my AB. And then, you know, maybe I'll keep this for like running gun and stuff. I don't know yet. I'm still not making up my mind. I don't know if I need 3 cameras. I don't need 3 cameras. No one needs 3 cameras, let's be honest. Like I mostly use 1 camera at a time. I don't even like mixing cameras. For the most part, I'll either pick one or the other based on whatever the shoot's gonna be for the day. This one went out for me the other day just because it was really hot, has the fans. I could shoot in RAW. has my Canon, you know, I have my fake internal NDs. So, so I just keep using it, and I think it's great. And yeah, I think that if you're looking at an FX5, really look at your kit and just talk to yourself and say, hey, do I need this? If you're an FX3 user and you want to upgrade, absolutely knock yourself out. You're still shooting in 4K. I haven't shot in 4K in, I don't know, 4 years. So I get it why you would, but for everyone else, if you have a Nikon camera, if you have a Canon right now, if you have an older Lumix camera or something like that, I would say, yeah, I think maybe you could upgrade to something like that. But there's a lot of other cameras out there that are super powerful, way less money, that you could get today with no problems. And I think like the Canon R5C is probably #1 in my list. The Nikon ZR is probably #2 on my list as far as like value for dollar. The R6V is about $2,500, so these are right around the same range. Would I get a used R5C or a brand new R6V? I don't know. I like the cinema menus. I don't necessarily like the camera menus. I don't want to have to worry about shutter angles versus shutter speed and all that stuff. It does have false color. It does have some pretty cool things. And I've seen some footage from the R6V and it looks amazing. So probably that would be the next kind of like camera. If I didn't buy this ZR, I probably would have bought that R6V. And it's because you want something kind of lightweight that you can kind of carry on a regular basis. And you know, the Nikon ticked those boxes at the time. And I gotta be honest, I actually jumped on it just because it was the next hot thing on YouTube. And that's not the right way of actually buying cameras. I would stay away from anybody who's pitching you a camera and telling you like, hey, this is gonna be the greatest thing ever. Either A, they're doing it for clickbait, B, they're getting paid by a manufacturer. No hate, but it's true. We all gotta make a living. And 3, like, there's so many other cool cameras that have come out in the last 4 or 5 years that you don't have to buy a $5,000 or $6,000 camera to get any work as far as like being a videographer, for sure. When I first started, I mean, I had a GH5 and a Blackmagic Pocket 4K. And speaking of the 4K, the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, if I remember correctly, I was able to shoot RAW in my SD card. So it's really not that impressive for Sony to be able to do that. And I wanted to point that out. Like, Sony, yeah, that's cool, you can shoot into, but you know, Blackmagic, you should do that with the 4K. I mean, 6 years ago, I don't know how old that camera is now, but it was a long time ago, it feels like. And it was shooting an SD card. So I'm sure that there's other manufacturers out there that could figure that out. Now, I probably wouldn't buy a Lumix camera today. I think I'm out on Lumix right now. I think probably for the foregone future, there really is no step ladder with Lumix. So I would probably stay away from that if you're like starting up a company or you're trying to be a videographer. If you really want like a ladder to step up, probably one of the biggest reasons why I bought my Canon is because I could use this R5C, or I could use a C80, or I could use a C400. It's all going to be pretty much the same thing. And you have that ladder. So like right now I'm looking at C80s for the same price of an FX5. And I'm like, you know, that C80 looks pretty damn good right now. Yeah, so these are just my first thoughts, you know, on the Sony FX5. I'm not even talking about specs. The specs are all out there. I'm just talking about like just regular usability, regular, you know, being practical about how you spend your money. And I don't think that you should go out there and chase anything. I mean, if you could find an R5C for about $2,000, I would jump on it. I think that's more than you'll ever need until you get to that next level of like where you're working on a production set or something like that. And being honest, like I'm an amateur. I don't know if I'll ever get there. You know, I'm 44 years old. I mean, how much time do I have to wait before I'm actually on a film set? It's just a dream of mine, and that's the reason I started shooting video. But I never wanted to ever get into the gear part of this. Like, I always thought like, hey, I just want to shoot ideas and shoot stories, and that would be good enough. But somehow, some way, when you start becoming a videographer, you become a filmmaker, and you jump on YouTube to learn, you become like indoctrinated by advertising, whether it's from your favorite creators or from, you know, the ads themselves. So there you go. If it's free, you're the product. Always remember that. So yeah, it's me, it's Jose. Like I said, this channel is for people who are looking to get into videography. This is just my my journey and how I've gone about it over the last 5 years. I have, 5 years worth of experience working with clients, getting paid. This year was like, I made a big leap, and yeah, I wanted to share with everybody, in case anybody wanted to, stop by the channel and chit chat or whatever. Make sure you leave me a message, leave me a like, subscribe. All right, until the next one, peace out. Oh, one more thing. I've been shooting this Nikon ZR in H.265 standard profile. Tell me if it looks bad. Just tell me like, hey, that looks really bad. Or tell me that from the beginning of the video, you could tell that there's something off with the footage. A lot of people have said that the H.265 and the Nikon ZR is no good. And I don't believe that. I just don't. I think that it comes down to lighting. I think it comes down to how you expose the photo. how you expose the picture or whatever, and that is it. So yeah, so this was just kind of something I want to throw in at the end before I forgot. I thank you for watching. Peace out.